Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 running backs that you must draft in 2024 fantasy football. An early look into things, right? It is early May. You're going to be doing your fantasy football draft for real in late August, early September. Things are going to change from now until then. Some of these guys may get hurt. Knock on wood, we don't root for injury, right? Some of these guys could get overtaken. Their quarterback might get hurt. Things might change. They might get traded. Before we actually reach time to draft, the ADPs will change. So again, just a early look at things. So take things that I say here with a grain of salt. If you're watching this for some reason in August, go to my channel and watch a video that just came out probably today, and you will find more up-to-date info. So without further ado, let's get on into things. 5 running backs you must draft in 2024 fantasy football. If you're new, subscribe button down below. Whether you are new to the channel or not, leave a like on today's video. Let's get into it. We begin with my first must-draft running back for 2024 fantasy football, and that is going to be Breece Hall of the New York Jumbo Jets. Current underdog ADP running back 3 at pick 7.3. Breece Hall was the running back 2 in PPR last season and the running back 6 in PPR points per game on a team that was absolutely atrocious on offense, right? Aaron Rodgers essentially plays for roughly 4.3 seconds, and then you get Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian for the rest of the season, right? You thought that Zach Wilson was bad, and then you got to watch Trevor Siemian play quarterback, and you realized that Trevor Siemian makes Zach Wilson look like Patrick Mahomes, okay? This was a Jets offense that was terrible all around. They were, as a team, carried by the defense, and Breece Hall offensively basically put the team on his back. And this was a team that the reason why Aaron Rodgers got destroyed and got hurt to start the season, which was obviously terrible, was because the offensive line could not stop me. I could line up there and I would be able to sack the quarterback, right? It was really that bad. It was shockingly bad, right? And with the offensive production being so bad, with the offensive line basically being a wet tissue paper, Breece Hall still was the running back 6 in PPR points per game. That is one of the most impressive feats of last season, despite the fact that the Jets were such a dumpster fire. Breece Hall was able to overcome that. 17 games played, 223 carries, 13.1 per game, 14th at running back, 994 rushing yards, 58.5 per game, number 13, 95 targets, 5.6 per game, number 1 at running back, 76 receptions, 4.5 per game, number 1 at running back, 591 receiving yards, 34.8 per game, you guessed it, number 1 at running back, and 9 total touchdowns, 12th at running back. He was 11th in yards per touch, 3rd in yards created, and 1st in dominator rating. Again, despite the fact, I'm going to make this very clear, crystal clear, the fact that the Jets were a dumpster fire, Breece Hall was still hitting defenses with the 619 Rey Mysterio. He was putting them in the figure 4. If this Jets offense is just marginally better, Breece Hall could be the running back 1 at the end of the season. It's not going to take Aaron Rodgers coming back and being the Aaron Rodgers, the MVP, the discount double check, right? It's not going to take Green Bay Packers vintage Aaron fucking Rodgers for Breece Hall to finish as the number 1 running back. Now, do I have him ranked as the number 1 running back? No, but I definitely think that at the end of the season, if he stays healthy, knock on wood, he could end up being the running back 1. I think he is a very safe bet to finish top 5 at the running back position. And now the Jets have an even better offensive line. They have some more weapons around Garrett Wilson. I am very excited for the potential output of Breece Hall this season, and that's why he's a must-draft running back for me. At number 2, we got Joe Mixon of the Houston Texans, underdog ADP running back 15, pick 57. Now, Joe Mixon is now a Houston Texan, no longer a Cincinnati Bengal. But in order to tell the tale of last season, we have to remember what happened in Cincinnati last year, right? Joe Burrow gets hurt, and then the season starts, and Joe Burrow doesn't look like Joe Burrow. And this Cincinnati Bengals offense was moving at the speed that old people have intercourse, right? This was a team that was a laughing stock across the NFL. Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless would come on TV and basically just laugh at him. Ha, ha, ha. Real funny, right? They were that bad. Eventually, even after Joe Burrow got hurt again, ending his season, they started to pick things up. But ultimately, the Bengals were kind of in limbo last season. And despite the fact that the Bengals weren't really the Bengals that we expected going into 2023, Joe Mixon was the running back 6 in PPR, running back 11 in PPR points per game. He played in all 17 games, being top 5 in carries with 257, 15.1 per game. He had over 1,000 rushing yards with 1,034, 60.8 per game, number 8. 64 targets, 13th, 52 receptions, 9th, 376 receiving yards, 12th, and 12 total touchdowns, 6th at running back. Something that not a lot of people like to talk about when it comes to Joe Mixon is the fact that he's sneaky good at catching passes. Now, is he going to go out there in Houston and catch 80 passes, 70 passes? Probably not. But if he gets around 50 again, which I think is very plausible, then Joe Mixon has the ability to be very exciting. And again, 12 total touchdowns, 6th at running back. He was 6th in yards created, 10th in dominator rating, and 14th in evaded tackles. We saw last year in Houston, Devin Singletary. We're not talking about Barry Sanders. We're not talking about LaDainian Tomlinson. We're not talking about Ricky Williams. We're not talking about whatever the better running back is in your mind, Adrian Peterson. We're not talking about Christian McCaffrey. We're talking about Devin fucking Singletary, and Devin Singletary looked great. Shout out to Tony the Tiger for multiple games in Houston. I get that Joe Mixon's getting a little bit older. I get that maybe Joe Mixon isn't the same Joe Mixon that he was a couple of years ago, right? Maybe he's slightly out of his prime. Say whatever you want about him. But what I do know is Joe Mixon isn't completely washed, and now he is on the Houston Texans, an offense that we all expect to blast off directly to the fucking moon, Elon Musk style, right? I really do think that this is going to be an offense that oozes in points. I think that Joe Mixon's upside is immense in this offense, and the fact that you can get him outside the top 12 at the running back position right now feels very nice. I like. Shout out Borat. At number 3, we got Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, formerly of the Green Bay Packers, now of the cold like Minnesota Vikings. Now, Aaron Jones did end up getting hurt last season. He is currently coming off the board as the running back 18 on Underdog, pick 71.8, running back 37 in PPR, running back 26 in PPR points per game. And just thinking about Aaron Jones getting hurt will give me PTSD from last season, right? A.J. Dillon gets to play as the lead back, and it just reminds me of how absolutely bottom of the barrel, nut low A.J. Dillon is. A.J. Dillon is built like what you would think the perfect NFL running back would look like, right? He has quads that Johnny Drama would die for, right? But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, A.J. Dillon blows. And thinking about Aaron Jones made me think about A.J. Dillon, and it made me mad. Aaron Jones, again, 11 games played last season. He wasn't great. He had 142 carries, 12.9 per game, 38th at running back, 656 rushing yards, 59.6 per game, 34th, 43 targets, 3.9 per game, 27th, 30 receptions, 2.7 per game, 30th, 233 receiving yards, 21.2 per game, number 24, and 3 total touchdowns. And while those stats may seem a little bit flaccid, a little limp dick, right? If you look at his efficiency stats, 15th in true yards per carry, 14th in yards per touch, 15th in yards created per touch. So again, was Aaron Jones the most elite running back in the NFL last year? No. No, he wasn't. But can Aaron Jones still play ball? 100%. And I think that Aaron Jones, reason why they brought him to Minnesota was to be the clear lead back, right? None of these other guys around Aaron Jones even remotely concern me. Not even an ounce. I think that with J.J. McCarthy as the signal caller of this team, and potentially maybe mono man Sam Darnold for the first couple of games, this is a team that is going to very heavily rely on the run. I think Aaron Jones is going to see a lot of opportunities to catch passes from J.J. McCarthy, and I feel like this landing spot very, very spicy for Aaron Jones. I know the Minnesota Vikings running backs last year were relatively pretty bad as a whole, but Aaron Jones is just miles ahead of those guys, and I really do believe that in Minnesota, they are going to look to jam the ball down their opponent's throats, and I think that Aaron Jones is going to greatly outperform his current ADP at running back number 18. If you guys have enjoyed thus far, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. And whether you are new to the channel or not, make sure to leave a like on today's video. It would help me out a ton. At number 4, we got Zamir White of the Las Vegas Raiders. Underdog ADP running back 24, pick 88.1. Zamir White is one of those guys that I can just rub the crystal ball, that's so Raven style, see into the future, and I just know for a fact that Zamir White is going to get steamed up the draft boards very quickly. Now, is he going to be like a top 3 round pick? Probably not, because I don't think Zamir White even holds that kind of a name value, right? To where anyone would be really talking him up that highly. But would it shock me if he was a 5th round pick? I genuinely do not think so. I really do not think so. I understand that the Raiders, you look at the quarterback room, you see Gardner Minshew, you see Aiden O'Connell, and your mind starts to think, why do I want a running back on a team like that? Right? But what you have to do is, while you understand that the quarterback situation isn't the best, you have to just think about what we saw last season, right? From weeks 1 through 14, Zamir White's chilling on the bench, right? He's holding the metaphorical jock strap of Josh Jacobs, right? He's the Gatorade boy. He's chilling on the bench, keeping it warm for Josh Jacobs. Weeks 1 through 14, he doesn't really do anything. But then Josh Jacobs gets hurt, right? And Zamir White takes that opportunity and flourishes, right? He takes over the backfield. It's not some type of committee. I know when Jacobs went down, a lot of people, myself included, thought, hey, while Zamir White is probably the guy you want to pick up, this could be a committee, right? That word that when fantasy players hear the term committee, the word committee, running back by committee, they shit themselves, right? They get nervous. I thought, hey, this might be a committee, right? But Zamir White, like I said, grabbed this offense by the balls and took over. In 4 out of 5 starts, he had over 100 all-purpose yards, seeing on average 3.2 targets per game. Now, if you look at his stats as a whole on the season, they're not going to make you just aroused, metaphorically, thinking about drafting him, right? It's not going to make you just jump out of your seat thinking, oh, I got to draft Zamir White, right? Running back 56 last year in PPR, 56 in PPR points per game, 4 starts, 17 games played, 104 carries, 451 rushing yards, 19 targets, 15 receptions, 98 receiving yards, and just 1 total touchdown, right? You read those stats, you start to worry. But that's why we talk so much about contextualizing the stats, right? While the stats are there, while you can read the stats, you want to make sure that you look into them, right? You want to whip out the fucking microscope. You don't want to just look at them, read them off, and think, oh, that's what Zamir White is, right? Because that is far from the case. Zamir White, in my opinion, is locked and loaded to be the running back 1 on the Raiders. And again, if the hype starts to get too high, if people are really getting down on their knees, giving the gawk 9,000 special to Zamir White in late August, early September, when you're doing your fantasy drafts, he's going way too high, he's going too damn high, then you know what you do? Then you don't draft him, right? Or maybe instead of being a must-draft guy, you're in 5 leagues, maybe you draft him once, right? He falls to you, you're happy, you select him, right? That's why I made note at the beginning of today's video that, hey, an early look at things. Things are going to change, right? Some of these guys, knock on wood, could get hurt, right? Some of these guys might somehow get overtaken by another running back, right? Anything is possible, right? I don't think Breece Hall is losing his job, but you get what I mean, right? Things happen in the National Football League. Trades happen, injuries happen, all types of stuff, right? So, Zamir White, right now, where we're sitting in early May, I really, really, really like that value. And I think that if he's able to get 3.2, 4 targets per game from what I would assume is Gardner Minshew as the starting quarterback, I think Zamir White can be sneaky good. Is he going to be the most consistent running back? To me, I wouldn't think so, right? Because I don't think the Raiders offense is going to be that great. But saw the Raiders offense be no bueno, as they would say last year, and Zamir White still feasting like Ezekiel Elliott at a buffet. Speaking of Ezekiel Elliott, he's running back number 5. Now, this one might make people turn the video off. They might think, Nick, the Lord's year 2024. Nick, you can't be serious. Ezekiel Elliott, that fat bastard, this, that, and the other thing, Ewok-looking guy, I can't draft him, and I get that, right? But he's no longer Zeke in the top 3 rounds. He's essentially Zeke for free right now. Now, in underdog drafts, he's typically going around pick 149. And in redraft leagues, that is basically free, running back 45. Now, this is another guy, just like Zamir White, where I could see the hype really becoming a thing for him. I could see people really buying in as we get closer towards Ezekiel Elliott. And again, how much is that hype going to compound will affect how much I really like him come August. I'm doing my underdog drafts right now. I've done a couple. I'm attacking Zeke around this range because I think come August his ADP will move up and it might reach a range of being disgusting. Zeke played for New England last year. It wasn't the best spot for him. Now, he did the best with what he was given, right? He was given Bailey Zappi and a Mac Jones offense. Not the best, right? Nothing like what they have Dallas. He had a 20.5 run block rating, 47th. Now, I understand his stats don't jump off the page. Running back 30 in PPR, 30 in points per game. He's 26th in carries, 35th in rushing yards. But something that you really will like here, 12th in targets, 12th in receptions, 17th in receiving yards, 30th in total touchdowns. But again, this was on a Patriots offense that was essentially some fucking peewee offense, right? A junior varsity offense. Mac Jones was terrible. Bailey Zappi, not much better. Now, if you remember at the end of last season when Zeke really got his chance, he had 6 games at the end of the season with over 70% of the snaps. The reason why he didn't have 6 starts, only 5, one of those games was when Ramondre Stevenson got hurt and Zeke was able to get in there. So 70% of the snaps, 6 games. He was a top 24 running back in 4 of those games. 4 of 6 as a top 24 back, and he was in the top 6 twice. Okay? Watch the tape last year from Zeke. He doesn't look amazing, right? He doesn't look like Megan Fox in the original Transformers, right? He doesn't look like Sydney Sweeney with her tatas flying everywhere, some beautiful scene to behold, right? That's not what Zeke, right? He doesn't look like he did in his prime. He doesn't, okay? But when you look at the Dallas Cowboys depth chart, you will see Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, the midget Deuce Vaughn, and Rolls-Royce Freeman. Deuce Vaughn, Royce Freeman, basically throw him out of there. I don't think Rico Dowdle is going to be able to overtake Ezekiel Elliott. So sitting right now, if they don't do anything to address the running back room more, Zeke legitimately could finish easily as a top 20 running back. Now, am I going to project that right now? No. Right? And who knows how Zeke will do on a 17-game sample size, right? Just starting every single game. Will he be able to hold up? We'll see. But at pick 149, where you're picking between scraps, where you're trying to find the diamond in the rough, where you're trying to find just a semblance of running back that's going to get touches, Ezekiel Elliott is going to get touches. He is going to get touches. What will he do with them? We shall see. Right? In week 16, week 17, you're in your fantasy football championship. He's going to be the same Zeke from week 1? Probably not. Right? He's even healthy enough. Knock on wood. But I do know one thing, though. Women, they come, they go. I do know one thing, though. That Ezekiel Elliott at pick 149, while it might sound gross right now, go do a draft and look at the running backs available around that pick, right? Then think about the fact that Ezekiel Elliott right now is the surefire lead back for the Dallas Cowboys, and it will feel a lot better. So thank you guys all so much for watching today's video. Let me know down below in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree with these things, right? Nick, I think Aaron Jones is awful. Nick, I love Zamir White. Nick, I hate Zeke. This, that, and the other thing, just let me know. All right, I love to talk to you guys in the comment section. I appreciate all of the support. It has been very nice recently. It means the world to me. We're only in May, right? We're just putting the tip in, right? We're just easing in here before we go balls to the wall later on in the summer in August when we're dropping multiple videos a day. I genuinely love you guys. It means so much to me, the support that I see. Without you guys, channel is nothing. Without you guys, the whole ship sinks. So I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great one. Check out some of the videos on your screen if you haven't seen them already. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. If you are new to the channel, hit that like button. I love you guys all so much. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. As always, good boy.